Recently, I played through Call of Duty Black Ops 6 with the help of some friends to keep me awake because this game is so devoid of creativity that even the creative part was boring. The following is a completely accurate summary of the campaign. Trust me. The game begins with a montage about the 90s because the only people who are still playing Call of Duty campaigns were born about halfway through that decade and probably didn't ever get to that part of US history in school because they kept starting over at the part where Christopher Columbus got lost every year and would get lucky if they ever made it to World War II because teenage boys have an unhealthy obsession with World War II. Cut to Will Wheaton interrogating the most 90s black man ever created, so 100 Acre strolls in to be his white savior and confirm that the events of Black Ops 2 are canon to this universe, which means we're once again on the trajectory of near-future sci-fi bullshit Call of Duty campaigns. Hooray. I would not be surprised if we get a Black Ops 2 sequel in the next 2 years. I bet they'll even call it Black Ops 7 to be even more confusing about the order that you're supposed to play these fucking games. Anyways, what the hell is going on in the actual game? Right, this mission is basically filler to introduce the stakes. We're playing as Basket Case on our way to kidnap a guy from his commute to work so we can ask him some stupid questions because Google hasn't been invented yet and we don't have a friend's older brother to ask.
Bo 77, they just Woods' mummified corpse out.
Black Ops 77, they just Woods' mummified corpse out. I think you're missing a couple of words there. Oops, that's not the right button.
Our objective was to recover Alawi.
They have that weird overacted mouth uncanny valley thing where like in real life people's upper lip doesn't move a whole lot, but in like animated stuff a lot of the time they'll animate that and it looks really uncanny, and that was happening in that cutscene where it's just like is this really gonna make me have to aim down sights so I don't die?
Just use single fire.
Oh yeah. How do I single fire?
As a V.
Only some guns have them.
Alright, fuck it, I'll aim down sights.
Sell out.
Hydra shows up right after we kidnap the guy, but unfortunately Vogel shows up and shoots him in the head, which means the ending I got in Cold War where I killed Woods, Mason, and Adler and nuked all of Europe wasn't canon. Oh wait, I already should have figured that out when Woods showed up. Sorry, can you tell I'm not paying attention? Fortunately, the guy we needed wasn't actually important, and it turns out that the CIA are the bad guys. Whoa! So now it's time for a turret section because Hydra is chasing us. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. Will Wheaton tells 100 Acres some information he probably already knows for the sake of the audience, blaming Vogel for 100 Acres' lack of knees, but like, wasn't that Hudson's fault? Are we just retconning shit willy-nilly? I'm calling it now that Mason shows up again. And yeah, I know you can survive getting shot in Black Ops 2, but I mean that no one's allowed to die in the Call of Duty cinematic universe. Anyways, turns out Karen and 90s Black Man fucked. Good, cool, that's important to the story. And also Vogel's safe word was actually secret code for, I swear I'm not the bad guy, also I hope you remember a very specific piece of information from 15 years ago based on a riddle, but now we're at a safe house in Bulgaria that is ridiculously big for no reason because outside of having a few puzzle unlocks for multiplayer shit, it's just a big static empty house. I wasn't paying attention to whatever else they were saying in the scene because I have free reign to just walk away from the conversation entirely. Oh, sorry, did you want me to stand in one place and gently move my camera to follow the characters around while they exposit? Give me a fucking break. I'm so sick of this trope in games lately. I didn't even like it when they did it in Half-Life over 20 years ago. This video is sponsored by HelloFresh. Are you tired of air-fried chicken nuggets every night? No, you're not because you don't have an air fryer? Okay, well, Mr. Pedantic over here. The point is, you can alleviate your boring routine nugget intake with over 50 dinner options, which means you could have a different meal every day of the month, or a ridiculous amount of food all at once for a single day, but I don't recommend that. There's even 30+ calorie smart and protein smart options to choose from every week, and HelloFresh orders come with a free breakfast item as long as your subscription is active, which is one less thing to worry about when you get up in the morning. You can even change your delivery plan every week, so if you want 1 week of a 50-meal binge in a singular day and then a day or two to process the horrible decisions you make, you can set that up. Thanks to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. Go to the link in the description and use my code WillyOssoFeb10 and receive 10 free meals and free breakfast for life. 1 breakfast item per box while subscription is active if you're in the US. The link and code are valid in all countries and the respective local discount will apply. After that exciting gameplay, we play Bargain Bin RPG with 100 Acre about upgrading the safe house, which I don't give a fuck about and that won't affect the campaign in any meaningful way. I'm more distracted by the fact that Woods is supposed to be like 60 in this game. Now it's time to meet up with someone named Dumbass and join her on our quest to figure out information about Hydra. Stealth is optional in this mission. Dumbass reminds us not to kill the guy on the phone until he tells us important intel, so I shoot him as soon as possible because it doesn't matter, the plot moves on regardless. I bet I probably could have shot him in like the leg or something.
Shoot him in the balls.
Kill the woman.
Innocent civilian. Oh, yep.
We're off to Très Bien La Maison to crash a party. Stealth is still optional. We go through a little charade of pretending to be captured, but then the guy we're after gets away, so now it's time for chasing after an NPC who gets in a car crash that flips over and explodes, but he survives that just long enough to crawl out and burn to death. I gave the Uber 2 stars for him. So the only thing that we got out of that mission was the CIA might be Hydra, which is an assumption we were already going off of. 90s Black Man lets us know that he collected the most 90s German hacker man ever created, so he can point us to Vogel's hole, but we've got to attend a political party.
Okay, Will, I have one request for you, and that is to give Bill Clinton a good job.
Just like Monica. Karen stops us at the door and warns us that there's a CIA team looking for us, but luckily they're really bad at their job, so they won't find us until after we get what we came for. Yo, Bill! Bill! Is Bill up there?
Bill, how was the head?
Bill! Oh, it just failed me, damn it.
Yep, now zoom in. Excellent. Perfect.
Yeah, there we go. So now it's time for walking around and shitty stealth mechanics. Woo. Remember when Call of Duty had the decency to not pretend it was anything more than a generic shooter? Stealth is not optional here, but it is really bad.
I think you fucked up.
Hey.
We're fine. We're good.
And no one's gonna notice the blood on your pants.
We try to sneak into an elevator shaft, but get caught by a security guard who tells us to put up our hands, but he doesn't even have a gun. Why are we following his orders?
Baby steps, Will. Baby steps.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Our friends put the security guard to bed and we jump down the elevator shaft because we want to gloat to 100 Acre about our knees, and then we use our camera on a retinal scanner because that would definitely work. But unfortunately, everyone is already dead when we open the door because Hydra got here first. We minigame a door open and insta-lock Twitch until we conveniently get to Vogel just in time to stop him from choking a guy to death by shooting the guy in the chest. Vogel puts on his sunglasses indoors because Hudson is dead in this game, and we lay off some federal workers for elongated muskrat on our way out. Adler, move your fucking head! What if I just don't?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
You just hide behind them.
Yeah.
How can they fucking tank it? Yeah, see, now you can. Okay. Diet Foots.
Dr. Sipper, Snap, Rhino. What does that say? Rhino root beer.
No, 9. That's sad.
No, 9's made by a different company.
This is hilarious.
He just keeps throwing.
This guy sucks. What the heck?
He's dead. Okay. Then we go through an 8th gen load zone and Denethor a guy in the face, and now it's time for a turret section because we can't be trusted to drive a motorcycle on our own, so we're riding bitch. You don't have to do any shooting during this section. 90s Black Man calls Karen to let her know that we did something really illegal, but we swearsies it was for a good reason, so we won't face any consequences for it down the line. Adler's wanted photo has his fucking sunglasses on, which means they let him keep them on for his official CIA ID card photo, because I guess you're just allowed to have one piece of swag. And now it's time to ignore some more exposition. Did you like the lifeless, empty open world sections of Modern Warfare 3? Fuck you, here's some more.
Haven't spotted us yet.
Whoa. That wasn't me. That leads into storming Saddam Hussein's palace, but he's not around because he's busy hiding in that hole from the meme. What?
He just gave up.
We get a door open for us, and get a door open for us, and get a door open for us, and find the T-virus, and no-scope some noobs on a roof, and ground some helicopters because we don't believe in the widely accepted laws of aviation, and then get into the back of a helicopter to leave because we're a hypocrite. Now we're headed to the middle of fucking nowhere, USA for the one mission in this game with any inkling of creativity, but just like everything else Call of Duty, it's blatantly ripping off some other better piece of media. Is this fucking zombies?
There's no way it's not zombies.
It is. That's why Max isn't speaking, right?
I'm not telling you the other reason.
Our mask breaks and we inhale some scarecrow fear toxin, so now it's time to play shitty Call of Duty Zombies for a while. Hello?
I got a pizza for Icy Wiener.
They also break the precedent of every game being improved by a grappling hook by making one that is just okay. You can grapple to a specific point and then you go directly to it, just like Dying Light. So after collecting some key cards and a drug-induced frenzy, are we just shooting up empty hallways? We got the yellow.
Evacuation protocol 5.
Come on, Case. Call of Duty fans are like, this bullet sponge? That's peak.
Runs in our veins. Remember.
Hi, Woods.
Mason!
Yeah, we both had the same idea. Oh, it is Woods.
Oh, Woods.
I didn't notice it at first because it was so dark, but that was just all Woods.
Hello, Red Adler.
Radler, if you will.
Mr. Super Hot.
He's getting away because he's no longer the most innovative shooter in years. This is really stupid. Rule of 3!
Oh, easy, big man!
Well, they really ran out of ideas already, huh? Because they just gotta reuse this. You too.
Thank you, Mr. Schwarzenegger. Very cool.
Oh, we're playing Prey. It's Mimic. We're looking for a Mimic. Oh, that's stupid. No, but like, Call of Duty doesn't have a single original idea in its bones. We take an elevator to a phone so we can call the board and they tell us.
This is what Jimmy Carter saw when he went to the early voting booth.
We get mauled by a zombie, but it's actually just a black guy doing his job, and no one is worried that we were huffing crazy gas for the last half hour because we can still stand up on our own. Now it's time to watch The Boys Gen V, where we find out that the gas that makes you crazy makes you crazy. Wow. And it turns out Karen is a bad guy, which no one saw coming because no one remembered she was a character. And 90s Black Man is upset because he had sex with a bad guy. And then we go to a casino to Ocean's 13, the next plot point, so we can figure out what to do next. See, it's this kind of thing where it's like amazing, beautiful scenery that is being wasted on Call of Duty. We play some poker, just kidding, we're swapping to POV or using POV correctly, and stealth is optional. We do some very inconspicuous things in front of some enemies that we're not killing, and they're none the wiser because their brains shut off after I stop looking at them. And then we get knocked over by generic 90s gangsters, but now it's time to pretend to play poker. After we win at poker, we get into a high roller area and notice something weird.
Wait, you're in the high roller lounge. The fucking slot machines have 25-cent markers on them.
Yeah.
What's the low roller
Yeah,
one?
what's the low roller?
Single cent.
Just put in like pieces of popcorn or something like that.
Hey man, this lady needs a bucket to carry those winnings.
I thought Felix was just a random like worker, and he was like, okay.
Yeah, it's because all these characters are so unmemorable you don't recognize them when they show up. And now it's time for another extremely shitty forced stealth section, my favorite. And now because we're playing as a woman, we get to open our own doors and push a cart full of guns to a vault door where we take a golden shower. We get the vault door open for us and defend an area from an arbitrary amount of enemies until we cut back to Basket Case getting tortured by a generic mob boss. We break out and ask him why he's stabbing himself. After picking up the whatever we came here for, who gives a shit from the less successful sister company of that one low-budget horror movie studio, we ask some SWAT guys why they're riot shielding themselves. We get a door open for us and borrow a boat and make it back to our safe house just in time to ignore some more exposition. Vogel asks Dag Dag for a ride to the airport, so we take an Uber that drops us off way before we get to the airport, so now we have to walk the rest of the way. 2 stars. And now it's time to shoot up an airport. Gee, I wonder what other game I've seen that in. Would it be Ouroborosing myself to mention the Ouroboros again? Turns out it's not even the right plane, so we borrow a tank to make our flight, but it's already taking off, so we cancel the flight because if I'm not allowed to make my destination, no one is. We catch up to the guy we were after and firefly some information out of him, where it's revealed that the next part of the plot is located in Nostalgia Land because the Ouroboros must continue to consume. Stealth is optional. Turns out we caught right up to Karen in the middle of her evil scheme, which is convenient, so now it's time for a turret section where we vaguely shoot at things that may or may not be moving on the ground. Then our Uber drops us back off at the place we just left. 2 stars. We catch up to Karen, who conveniently wants us to help her instead of just shooting us in the head, but the game doesn't actually give us the option to side with her, so we bring her back to our safe house and drug her to get information out of her, and now it's time to play that weird part from Black Ops 3. And the Ouroboros tightens.
It's starting to come back to me.
No. Turn it on and then back off. Turns out the bad guys knew we took Karen to our safe house, so now it's time to defend the area spliced in between Black Ops 3, and despite all of this split personality bullshit, Karen ends up evil in the end anyways. The Scarecrow Fear Toxin is in the Capitol building in DC, and Karen escapes, but they leave 100 Acre alive for literally no reason because no one's allowed to die in the Call of Duty cinematic universe. We catch up to Karen taking an Uber pool, so we make some space and beat up Karen, but accidentally shoot the pilot and it crashes, but luckily both of us survived, so Karen tries to choke us out. But we're not into that, so we huff some gas and choke her to death, or at least that's what's implied, but it cuts away before we see for sure, which means both Karen and Basket Case will be alive for like Warzone or something, who cares. There's a Marvel after credits scene before the credits hinting at whatever's next, but I literally could not care less. Game over.